You fall asleep, everything is quiet. Then, sometime in the night, pressure in your bladder, eyes open, out of bed, into the bathroom, back under the covers. Maybe you even glance at the clock and know right away, that is it for the night. And that is often when the real problem begins. Because you did not just get up to use the bathroom. Your sleep was interrupted. Your body wants to fall back asleep, but your mind is already awake, and your thoughts start circling. The carousel in your head starts spinning, and the next morning you pay for it. You feel dead tired when you should be alert. You are thinking only one thing: how am I supposed to get through the day? Most people immediately think this is just age, or my bladder, or for men, my prostate. But very often the real cause is somewhere else, not down in the bladder. Much earlier, in the way your body handles water at night. And later there is one point almost nobody connects to this. That one, in particular, can suddenly explain a lot. If you wake up at night, it is usually not because of your age or because your bladder suddenly failed. Very often, something much more basic is happening in the background, and at the same time, something much more interesting. Your system is regulating water excretion at the wrong time. At night, your body is supposed to switch into conservation mode. Make less urine, hold on to fluid, protect sleep. When that nighttime rhythm is disturbed, the problem may end up in the bladder, but it usually started much earlier. That is the important shift in perspective. Do not just ask how full the bladder is. Ask why your body wants to go to the bathroom at night in the first place. The bladder does not produce urine. It only stores what is sent to it. If your body lets too much water run through the kidneys at night, if sugar pulls water with it, or if stored fluid flows back into circulation when you lie down, all of that ends up in the bladder. That is where the real problem becomes visible. Did you know there is a hormone that helps your body hold on to water at night instead of filtering it out all the time? It is called antidiuretic hormone, or ADH for short. This matters because you go many hours without drinking while you sleep. So your body has to use the water it already has more carefully than it does during the day. Your kidneys are constantly filtering fluid out of the blood. ADH makes sure that a larger part of that water goes back into the body instead of ending up as urine in the bladder. The urine becomes more concentrated, the volume gets smaller, and the bladder fills more slowly. That is how the body protects your sleep. The problem starts when that nighttime ADH regulation is disturbed. Then more urine reaches the bladder, it fills faster, and you have to get up at exactly the time your body is supposed to be asleep. And this is where you can influence things yourself. Above all, through what you take in during the evening. Drinking a lot late at night, alcohol, caffeine, and late snacking can all keep water excretion going and wake you up because of it. Blood sugar also plays a much bigger role in nighttime urination than most people realize. If there is too much sugar in the blood, the body tries to get rid of it through the kidneys. And when that happens, sugar is not the only thing that ends up in the urine. Water goes with it. That means more urine is produced, the bladder fills faster, and you are more likely to need the bathroom during the night. That is exactly why late sweet or starchy snacks can be such a problem. Dessert, bread, rice, pasta, or constant evening snacking can push blood sugar back up. Then the body is busy processing again, even though it should already be winding down. And a few hours later, that can be exactly what wakes you up. For the night, it is usually better to eat less sugar, cut back on late snacking, and avoid large portions of starchy foods right before bed. The more stable your blood sugar is going into the night, the less often you will need to get up to use the bathroom. Another reason for nighttime urination can begin during the day, especially in your legs. Fluid can collect in the lower legs, ankles, and feet over the course of the day. As long as you are standing or sitting, it tends to stay down there. But once you lie down in the evening, that fluid starts to redistribute. It flows back into circulation, passes through the kidneys, and is gradually excreted. That is why you may need the bathroom at night, even if you did not drink very much in the evening. Clues can be heavy legs, sock marks, swollen ankles, or a feeling of tightness in the lower legs. If that sounds familiar, it is worth looking not only at how much you drink in the evening, but also at how much fluid builds up in your legs during the day. What can help here is pretty simple. Move more during the day, avoid sitting or standing too long without a break, and put your legs up for a while in the evening. Even a short walk in the late afternoon or evening can help, because muscle activity supports the return flow. If you sit a lot, it can already make a difference to get up from time to time, walk a few steps, or consciously move your feet. That leaves less fluid pooling down there that later wants to go out through the kidneys during the night. Dinner also plays a major role, especially if it is very salty, packed with fast carbs, and followed by more snacking afterward. That usually makes you thirsty, so you drink more. At the same time, your metabolism stays active longer than is good for the night. Everyone knows evenings like that. First a late meal, then some bread, something sweet, a few salty snacks, or just one more little bite. But every one of those little extras keeps the body busy for longer. And often, there is more drinking on top of it, simply because salty or heavily processed food makes you thirsty. In the evening, the body should really be powering down. Instead, it gets more work to do, digesting, processing sugar, moving fluid around. And that can show up later in the night. Sleep gets lighter, the bladder fills faster, and you wake up more easily. And even when the meal is long over, the evening can still disrupt the night through what you drink afterward. That is why alcohol and caffeine in the evening can make the problem much worse. Caffeine can irritate the bladder and contribute to producing more urine. Alcohol can disturb nighttime fluid regulation and at the same time make your sleep more restless. That combination is especially unhelpful. You sleep worse, and you are more likely to need the bathroom. One thing that can really help is eating potassium-rich foods. Potassium helps the body keep salt and water in better balance. That means less fluid gets held in the tissues. And if it is not stored there in the first place, it does not have to go back through the kidneys and into the bladder at night. That is exactly why it can make sense to choose foods in the evening that contain potassium. Good options include potatoes, beans, lentils, spinach, tomatoes, broccoli, bananas, avocado, or yogurt. A simple evening meal with potatoes and vegetables, or a small serving of yogurt with banana, is often much better than whatever you might otherwise snack on without thinking. But did you know that a very high-protein dinner can also wake you up later in the night? Not because protein is bad in itself, but because the body digests protein more slowly. It simply takes more time. As protein is broken down, a substance called urea is produced. The body has to excrete that through the kidneys, and that requires water. That is exactly how a heavy, protein-rich evening meal can later lead to more urine being produced. So it is not only what you eat in the evening that matters, but also how much and how heavy that meal is. If a lot of protein comes together at night, it can make the night more restless. In many cases, it is better to eat the larger portion of protein earlier in the day and keep dinner a little lighter. The problem is not only that you have to get up to go to the bathroom at night. The real problem is what happens after that. Your sleep is interrupted. The next morning, you are more tired, less focused, and often hungrier too. Then you reach more quickly for things that push blood sugar up. In the evening, you are more likely to eat again or drink more, and that sets the stage for the next restless night. That is how a cycle begins. One bad night makes the next day harder, and a hard day often makes the next night worse too. That is exactly why nighttime urination should not be brushed aside, not only when it becomes extreme, but as soon as your sleep starts to suffer from it.